What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, some of the abnormal transactions that was done by larger institutions, as well as what shorts did today. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 1.68% in the green. 44.6 million shares were traded. 53.8 is the average. So you did see another day where institutions were buying the hell out of SoFi. And this started ever since yesterday. So as you can kind of see, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So some pretty big ones, 5.6 million, 1.3, 1.4, so quite a lot. So ever since yesterday, big money was just saying, here, SoFi, take my money, just give me shares. So you do see somewhat of a FOMO aspect starting to kick in. And interestingly enough, you do see this. So during power hour, you actually saw a bump up. And that was very abnormal because the CPI is tomorrow. You saw a lot of other stocks and spec plays. You saw more of a dip somewhat. You did not see buying. So someone really wanted to get into SoFi, whether it because, I don't know, maybe they're anticipating positive CPI or something along those lines, but I think you do get more of a FOMO vibe with SoFi. So I think right now, maybe earnings hype is starting to kick in. So let me know your thoughts on that. When it comes down to news, there was this that was just announced today. So SoFi announces world partnership with number 4 world ranked professional golfer and reigning US Open Championship, Wyndham Clark. So I'm not really a big golf fan or anything like that. So I don't know if he is amazing or whatever else, or maybe the new Tiger Woods, or I don't know if he's even a thing, but still I think this matches in line with SoFi's bigger picture associated to TGL. So I think this is one of many things that SoFi is doing constantly just to get its name out there, just to drive up members. And of course, members go up and every other aspect of their business tends to flourish. So I think all in all, this is a very good piece of news. And another interesting point that did happen today was this. So shorts randomly returned 1.06 million shares. 19.85% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 197.08 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 1%. An interesting point, I know I did mention this, I think it was like a week ago, something like that, but it has been a very long time since we've seen cost to borrow minimum be negative, meaning a broker out there paying people to short SoFi. So the manipulation on that aspect has kind of diminished. So in reality, I think that's kind of a good thing, but utilization is 69.69 and short score is 70.57. As of late, there hasn't been any recent analyst ratings today, so you still did have that 2 from yesterday, so Citi and then Bank of America. So I think all in all, that should be good. You might see a couple more analyst ratings sooner rather than later prior to the earnings, but still, even in that regard, analysts giving ratings before an earnings is very abnormal and bullish. And so another bullish kind of tick to add to many SoFi things that's happening right now. But moving on, looking at the options activity, $6.69 million in calls being purchased versus 1.59 in puts. Sentiment wise, 46% of all the options being done today were bearish. So again, that's clearly, I don't know, has to do with maybe with broader fears or maybe specific to SoFi. I'm not really sure, but of the call options that were purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above $8 by clearly this week, by April the 12th. Then looking at puts, consensus for it to be below 750. So the risk versus reward is very much in the upside, and clearly as well, I think there's a very strong understanding maybe that CPI may be positive. We'll just have to wait and see. So I'll do a quick summary video on CPI when I do my pre-market video, just to go over all that fun jazz. But like I already mentioned, big money is buying both on the secondary market as well as dark pool. So these are all the transactions that have occurred on the dark pool. I will go relatively slow just in case you would like me to, or you can pause it and read through it and line by line if you need. But there is quite a lot of transactions that was done on the dark pool today. Of course, as I've said in the past, dark pool is linked to large institutions as well as shorting. So not necessarily the best. SoFi today with it closing at $7.89 sense, it is trading between this R2 and this R3. So I'm looking at the 4-hour chart as well. So it's not necessarily as strong as resistance and support levels as I've brought up in the past videos, but regardless, it did successfully get above this R2, so $7.82. It was flirting with it quite a lot. So as you can kind of see, it was bouncing throughout the day off of this, more so on the downside, but still regardless, it did once again get over this 782 mark. So technically, assuming CPI goes good and everything, there's nothing really crazy, then most likely you could see $8 potentially plus tomorrow. So we'll just have to wait and see what does happen. So as far as tomorrow, the next target, $8.10. So let me know your thoughts if you think SoFi can get above that $8 mark going into tomorrow. I feel like SoFi has really escalated its technicals very, very fast. And I didn't really anticipate things to go this fast. If anything, I felt that the FOMO aspect leading into their earnings was going to kick off maybe next week, not this week. So I think things are working very fast, but I don't think any investor is complaining whatsoever. Aside from that, looking on the actual chart, as you can see, I'll quickly refresh this because I have no idea what the hell is going on with that. So as you can kind of see, it is actually above that 50-day moving average, still in the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. Looking at stochastic, you do see it at 80, and this is exactly what I did say over the last several videos. The fact that if SoFi was to get to around the 780, 790 range, you were going to see stochastic considered overbought. So the first sign of weakness, you no doubtably are going to see a pullback, whether it be because of CPI or just maybe failing to get above that $8.10 mark. So that's going to cause a more of a consolidation. So something to watch for tomorrow. But despite that, though, you do see a nice bullish deviation. So white line above the red as well. Number of retail investors have been getting into SoFi. So you can tell that based off of the momentum indicator. So you do see another very interesting scenario where both institutions and retail are buying at the exact same time. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been doing any options with SoFi? Have you been buying? What's your thoughts on SoFi? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.